This is All India Radio. In the program Spotlight, now we bring you an exclusive interview with Nilutpal Gohain, writer on legends of Ahom General Lachit Borphukan on his 400th birth anniversary. The interviewer is Manas Pratham Sharma, AIR correspondent.
We are discussing on the 400th birth anniversary celebration of great Ahom General Lachit Borphukan in New Delhi. To speak more on this, on the life and valor and achievement of Lachit Borphukan, we are joined by writer who authored the book The Legend of Lachit Borphukan, Sri Nilutpal Gohain. Mr. Gohain, welcome to All India Radio.
Thank you.
For our larger listeners, would you please speak who was Lachit Borphukan?
Well, where do I start? Lachit Borphukan was the commander of the Ahom army in one of the most important expeditions of the Ahoms. It was in the Battle of Saraighat which he commanded, and that was the last decisive battle that stopped the further Mughal invasion in the northeast. And during those times, it was the only naval battle which was fought in the northeastern part of India. So, if I speak about his childhood, Lachit Borphukan was the son of Mumai Tamuli Borborwa. Mumai Tamuli Borborwa was the first Borborwa of the Ahom kingdom. And Mumai Tamuli, he kind of, how do I put it? Mumai Tamuli Borborwa reinvented the system of village administration in Assam, and he was the first general who was instrumental in signing the treaty with Allah Yar Khan, which decided the boundary between Ahom and the Mughal kingdom. That was the main basis of future Ahom-Mughal relations in India. So in the later part, Lachit was born in 1622, and right from the childhood he showed the characters of a commander. He was trained well. He was trained in Dandanitis, Ahom Chronicles, and he was trained in warfare. So in a way he showed all characters of a commander from childhood, and he was first appointed as Ghura Borwa, the one who looks after royal stables. Then he was appointed as Simolu Goria Fukan. There was a Gaur called Simolu Gaur in Assam. He was the protector of that Gaur. And before being appointed as Borphukan, Lachit was appointed as Dula Kakhoria Borwa. Currently it will be a position of the personal bodyguard of the king. And when the moment arrived that some Borphukan should lead the Ahom expedition to defeat the Mughals in Guwahati, he was selected to be the Borphukan of the army.
Right. And so why this 400 years birth anniversary celebration in New Delhi? Along with that, what do you think? How after this celebration, a 3-day celebration in New Delhi, how would we able to reach beyond the border of Assam on the valor and on glory of the Lachit Borphukan?
Well, Lachit Borphukan is a national hero. We all should agree to that. And Lachit Borphukan's valor and sacrifice needs to be told to the whole of India. Though people know about him, and we have an award named after him that is every year conferred in the National Defence Academy, and people also know a lot about him, but there is no proper mention in the history books or any annals of the history that are currently being used in various platforms. So it's only in Assam that we find his mention in history books. It's very important that even the history books that are used in the whole of India, he should find a mention in that. Of late, we have come to know that some of the curriculums have adopted his chapter, so it's a very good sign. And the government of Assam wanted to, let the people know his valor, his sacrifice, and his way of leading the army, his putting the motherland before anything else, his attitude, all those things should come in the front, people should know about him. That's why this 400 years celebration of his birth anniversary is happening in Delhi. The government has a very beautiful program planned out. They are planning to unveil a documentary, about a 1-hour documentary, which will showcase his life journey and will end at the Battle of Saraighat. Moreover, they are also unveiling a coffee table book in which his life history, various chapters will be there about his relations with the king, relations with various other ministers, and relation with the Mughal general who led the Mughal army in the Battle of Saraighat, Ram Singh. All those specifications and all those areas have been dealt with in the book, and various authors from the historical background or professors of the history have written in the book, showcasing and analyzing all these things. So, and moreover, they have planned some panel discussions as well, so that people will come to know more about him. And we have a huge program lined up. So it will be a wonderful celebration about his life journey in 400 years celebration.
Right. And specifically, that Honorable Prime Minister and Indian Home Minister, they are also participating in that. You just mentioned in your opening remarks about the Battle of Saraighat. This is a landmark battle, landmark war in the history of Assam, not only in Assam, in the history of Indian history, to be specific. Would you please elaborate how it happened?
The Battle of Saraighat, as I said, is the last decisive battle between the Ahoms and the Mughals. And after the Battle of Saraighat, there was no formidable effort by the Mughals to, again attack Assam. So the Battle of Saraighat, it happened in the year 1671. The Mughal king, the Mughal commander, Raja Ram Singh, was trying to enter Guwahati by any means. He was, taking all sorts of measures to enter Guwahati, but every effort was thwarted by the Ahom army. So at last, he found a small bridge at one of the sandbanks that was erected in a place called Andharubali. The place currently is the Gopalboro field in the Brahmaputra bank. So that place, there was a sandbank and there was a bridge. Ram Singh was planning to enter through that bridge to Guwahati. However, even during that time, Lachit Borphukan was very ill, and he was in no position to come out and fight. So the absence of their commander was affecting the army, and they were planning to abandon the war and leave. So at some point of time, when Lachit realized that his absence is affecting the army, he thought to, get up and lead the army. So once he got up, he took the hangdang with the help of one of his pike. He got up. Pike is someone who is there for the service of the commanders and the king. So when he got up, there was a special tradition of the Ahoms to always accompany astrologer whenever they go for war expeditions.
Right.
There was one astrologer called Achyutananda Doloi who was accompanying for the Saraighat war. So as soon as Lachit got up and started coming out for war, Achyutananda Doloi stopped him and said that the time is not auspicious to come out for war right now. And Lachit was very angry. He said, why are you stopping me at this juncture when the situation is so critical? And Achyutananda Doloi said, no, you trust me. I will not allow you to go out. If you go out right now, you will be killed and everything will be over. The Ahom army will be defeated. Lachit got more angry and he said that before Swargadev, that means the Ahom Raja, gives any instructions, I will slice your head. And Achyutananda Doloi was so confident in his calculations, he said, okay, you slice my head, but right now you can't go out. Then after some time he said, okay, this is the correct time right now to get out. This is the point when God Ram, I'd say, went out to kill Ravana. So Achyutananda Doloi allowed him to go out. He went out and he saw that the boats were abandoning the war. He boarded his boat and took his boat right in the middle of the Mughal army, Mughal fleet. So right in front of the Mughal fleet, he took his boat, and there are other boats who saw that the general has come out, and they also joined the general in attacking the Ahom army, and they all went together and started attacking the Mughals. Now, what happened is that it was a naval war, and there was every possibility that the provisions or the ammunition of both the armies, the Mughal as well as the Ahoms, can get over at any time, and there was no means to replenish that ammunition. So what they did, they lined up all the Ahom boats in one straight line, and that formed an improvised bridge on the river Brahmaputra, and the ammunitions started coming through that bridge. So at some point of time, the Mughals lost all their ammunitions, but the Ahoms were getting replenished, getting their ammunitions replenished, and that's why the Mughals couldn't stand the Ahom bombardment, and they started leaving the war arena. And these Mughal army or the Mughal navy was chased down to the Manas river, and after that they didn't thought of returning back, and they abandoned the war. So So that was the Battle of Saraighat, and the place, right now we call it Amingaon, that place was known at that time as Sarai. So we call it the Battle of Saraighat.
Battle of Saraighat. And Mughal commander, King Raja Ram Singh, he praised a lot about Lachit Borphukan. He said, I have not met any such, great valiant commander in my life. Right. Coming to Lachit Borphukan's, literature, you wrote a book, and there are a few others also. But as a larger perspective, do you think we have enough on Lachit Borphukan's activities, his glory, through books, through movies, through documentaries?
Well, frankly speaking, there is a lot to write about him. There are a lot of places where we can do more research. For example, there is nothing written in the history about his mother's name. There are names circling, but we are not sure if exactly it was his mother's name or not. Secondly, some of the other gray areas about his life is that, was he married? Did he have children? All these things are not properly documented. So there's a lot of place where we can do more research and find out all these details, if not in the chronicles that were being maintained by the Ahom kings, because those chronicles only narrated the political events. But there can be other literature materials where these social life, social fabric of the Ahom people are also mentioned. So we need to find those if possible, and there are people who should do more research. There should be more research in this line, this area. Secondly, historical fiction, I'd say, yes, my book is there. There are a few other authors who have authored the book, and the prime source of all these books is the book written by Suryakumar Bhuiya called Lachit Borphukan and His Times. So that book has beautifully chronicled his whole life, and that has been chronicled right from the Buranjis, from the Ahom chronicles. So that was one good thing which Suryakumar Bhuiya did and helped all authors like us. Secondly, the government of Assam, as I said, has made a documentary that will go a long way in bringing awareness among the people.
And finally, what are the major takeaways for the present generations, for the young people, from the sacrifice, achievement, and the life of Lachit Borphukan?
And the first of all is the patriotism, I would say, because we all know about this incident that Lachit killed his own uncle because of lax in duty. Lachit ordered his uncle to, build a rampart in a place called Amingaon, and he was ordered to complete that rampart in one single night. So Lachit left that place, and he was wondering if his uncle would be able to complete it or not. So at some point of time he realized that he should go and supervise the work. When he came at the middle of the night to see if the rampart has been built, saw that all the workers were sleeping there, and even his uncle was sleeping, and they were not working on the rampart. So he got so angry, he sliced his uncle's body into two, and he said that my uncle is not bigger than my country. So that feeling of, that in itself is a sacrifice, that he sacrificed his uncle for his country, for his motherland. So that sort of patriotism is really the need of the hour. That patriotism is one thing, sacrifice is the second thing, and third, single-handedly going forward in a boat and facing the Mughal army to bring in that motivation in his army, in his navy fleet, so that they also come back and join him. That shows the kind of motivation he has and the kind of pride he took in being an Assamese, in being an Ahom, and the bravery which he showcased. So all these things are takeaway for the current generation, and these things, if we should all imbibe in our lives, because that will make us a better person, I think.
Right, and thank you, Mr. Gohain, again for your time, for all your beautiful inputs. I think our listeners might be, helpful in knowing Lachit Borphukan in a larger perspective. Thank you again.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
You were listening to an exclusive interview with Nilutpal Gohain, writer on legends of Ahom General Lachit Borphukan on his 400th birth anniversary. The interviewer was Manas Pratim Sarma, AIR correspondent. This program was produced and presented by the News Services Division of All India Radio. You can listen to it on our mobile app News on AIR. This program is also available on our YouTube channel News on AIR Official. You may email your opinion about this program at airnsdtalks@gmail.com.